What's up, guys? Welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Ray Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. And today, we are talking about Bishop number 1. Now, I know it's been like a really long fucking time since we've seen Bishop in like solo anything. So I'm actually really excited about this. Plus, this fucking cover is delicious, okay? Anywho, so I'm kind of speed run through the story as per usual, but there are some key things that I really wanted to talk about. This, of course, could have probably been like just like a YouTube short, TikTok short type thing, but I really liked the idea that they threw in here for this particular book. So, we see Bishop in the beginning. He's walking, minding his own business, and he comes across 2 people who are trying to rob him. And one of them is going to try to rob him at gunpoint. If you know anything about Bishop, this is fucking stupid. So this is the dumbest fucking idea that you could ever possibly come up with. But he doesn't really know that. He's just like a regular fucking bigot as per usual. And he starts talking about how he's seen mutants on TV. I do believe he calls them a mutie, which is insane, because what fucking year are we in right now? Please. Anyway, he's like, oh, I've seen this shit on fucking TV where they're poisoning our water and trying to turn our children into mutants. Yeah, that's how that works. So anyway, he has a gun to Bishop's face, and Bishop's just like, you really don't want to do that. And the guy that's with him, the black guy that's with him, using that horror movie logic where he's just like, I don't think this is a good idea. And the white guy is just like, of course, this is a great idea. Those saxophones are getting really fucking loud, don't you think? So anyway, the guy just starts fucking blasting. Stupid idea. And of course, he's standing there absorbing it, and he is having like this internal monologue going on, which is very entertaining if you're looking at it. And he's just like, explaining his powers and his powers of absorption, and he does blast those powers back out and then punch the guy into the ground. Now the black guy is just like, let's get the fuck out of here while we still can, because this is insane. And he starts talking about essentially what happened in the past and how he has had to navigate things like this on top of what's happening or what happened in the past, which is not past, but future. So he's from 80 years in the future, and he has chosen to come to the past. So he's currently living in the past, and he's putting together a single story family home, like with an ocean view. And he's been working on that, and he's actually doing a pretty good job doing this shit on his own. And he starts talking about when he was younger in the future, and how he and his sister were inseparable at that point, and they ended up getting into a fight. And this scenario that he went through with these 2 people pretty much reminded him of the fight that he had or is gonna have in the future with his little sister. And they did beat the people up that were coming to jump them, but then of course he's explaining to his sister that, yeah, we won, we beat the fuck out of them, that was cool, great, awesome, but I'm the one that has to explain to grandma that we got into another fight. So he is having this conversation with his grandmother, who looks oddly familiar. And I just kind of want to address that really quick. She very much does look like Storm, or a member of Storm's family, with the white hair and everything like that. She does have the M branding for mutant, which is what they do get in the future. And again, she does have the white curly hair. Now, one thing of note is, one, Storm just started getting her hair back to curly. She has had quite literally every other hairstyle, and almost always her hairstyle has been straight. They are just now getting back into her curly hair pattern, as they should have had already. However, this woman does have her curly hair and it is up, like all the way up, standing fucking like Bride of Frankenstein up. That just seems like something completely out of character for Storm, because Storm always has her hair, looking superb. Feel me? Now, they have never actually confirmed that Storm is his grandmother. They've never confirmed that before. And it's plausible. However, I'm going to say that while they heavily do say that, I'm going to say that they kind of either dance around it or completely avoid it in this situation with what happens after he's talking. So he has the conversation with his grandmother where she's like being encouraging and things like that. In the past, he is having a conversation with Storm at the bar, and she's basically saying when she called him, she could tell that he was absolutely fucking miserable and that he needed a drinking buddy, and she has had drinks, and she knows that she is going to be giving him unfiltered advice, and that she hopes that he's ready for that. And he was like, miserable? What? And she gives him this look like, Nick, don't play with me. And he's like, all right, fine. Yes, I am fucking miserable. The reason he's miserable is because he's remembering what happens to his sister because of him. So when we go back to the flash forward, he has just become a member of the XSE, and he's no longer a recruit or anything like that. And she's standing there and she's basically like, hey, in a few years, that's going to be me. And I'm super fucking excited. And excited she was. I don't even think it took a few years. I really think it was like the next year or the year after that. So maybe like 1 or 2 years. And she ended up leading her own team. Now, this is part of the history, and it is actually what happened like in the 90s when it came to Bishop and Shard. So he's basically explaining what is happening or what is going to happen. So he actually ends up getting bad intel and passes it on to his sister, who is leading her own team. That bad intel gets her ambushed and killed. Now, he can't save her body, but he can save her mind. So he ends up keeping her alive as a hologram. He is explaining all of this to Storm, but he is also explaining all of this to the reader. This is for people who have not read the original volume when it was the first part in the 90s, when they were talking about what happened between Bishop and Shard and why Shard was no longer there and why she was a hologram and all this other stuff from any of the other appearances that she may have had. This is how we get to that. So this is what happens. What is going to happen in the future is that he is going to get bad intel. He's going to pass that bad intel on to his sister. His sister's going to get ambushed, killed, and he's going to walk around with her as a fucking hologram so that he has a piece of her with him at all times. Okay? Now, Storm says, I can't, I'd never met your sister, but I would imagine that your sister would not want you to be doing this, like being miserable like this. And they have that conversation. He's like, did you know that you're really fucking good at giving advice? And she's just like, stop. Because she is great at giving advice. Now, he says he didn't want to talk about that anymore. He didn't want to talk about her anymore, but he does appreciate that Storm is somebody who gives really good advice. Now, what he says here is like super crucial. In his time period, Storm is talked about in past tense. So she's talked about as a legend, and she is whom stories are told about. Prior to this particular reboot, when his grandmother would give stories about the X-Men, it was like she was giving a first-person account, which is why everybody was just like, oh, Storm's his grandmother, and they've never said that. Here, he's saying that she is what the legends are about. What legendary stories, when they heard about the X-Men and things like that, and when they heard about the past X-Men and things like that, Storm's name came up all the time because she was a legend. So it's sounding like she's not alive. That's how those words are coming to me. Now, with that being said, he's walking through the streets and he's still having that, like, you know, conversation with himself about those thoughts. And he ends up getting attacked by a woman named Flamequake. Now, Flamequake is like, oh, like, my ancestors and I have been planning to kill you for years. And she just starts attacking him, and she's like revealing all of this information that would come from actual fucking research of him in the future, right? Because he is from 80 years in the future. So she would also have to be from that time period, or the people who got her would have to be from that time period and give her the information from that time period, send her back so that she could do what she got to do. Now, she says that she is from his time period, so I'm assuming that that's true. It may not be. However, she's using all kinds of things. Another thing that I really wanted to point out is the fact that there were a lot of people complaining during a post that I had on Threads, this post in particular, about them killing Darwin in X-Men First Class. Now, when we get to Days of Future Past and Bishop is there, Bishop does end up getting killed by the Sentinels when he is like overwhelmed and then blows up. That can happen. He can absorb too much, and if he does not have anywhere to throw it, it will kill him. So that is something that she knows, where she is overwrought, like oversaturating him with stuff to absorb, and he doesn't have anywhere to throw it, so it can kill him, and she can kill him doing that. So she does like this blast or whatever, and she's getting ready to kill him after she kind of gets him down on the ground. And as she's getting ready to kill him, talking her shit, she ends up getting distracted because someone says her name. She turns around and it is Shard. Couple things about this. Shard looks quite a bit younger than when she first died. To me, she looks much younger. She's still wearing her XSE uniform, or her X-Men uniform. And she's incredibly confident. She's like, get the hell away from my brother. Now, it could be her, and then we have some explanations to go through as to how the fuck she's here, because she is dead. I feel like she could come from a different time period prior to her being killed. That is a possibility. I also think it's a possibility that it's probably not her, or that she was able to be resurrected at some point in time, or given her like a younger body. There's a lot of possibilities that can go here, and it's the X-Men, so literally anything is possible at this point, especially when they do time traveling from the future to the past, right? So, you know, we'll see. First of all, I absolutely love his design. His design looks absolutely amazing. It looks like someone was like, he's supposed to be a black man. Let's make him look like that, right? The art is absolutely fabulous. How they made Storm look, I absolutely love as well. And this is current. So he refers to her as Earth's mightiest mutant. So this is quite literally like concurrent with the actual like timeline of what's going on, because she is currently known as the Earth's mightiest mutant, right? So I do thoroughly enjoy that. Their conversation, I enjoy that too, because it wasn't too much. It didn't oversaturate, and it gave just enough. Really, I want to know more about this appearance of his sister, because they went through great lengths to keep her dead, like being a hologram, right? So and it's been a long time. So I'm very interested to see where this goes, how this goes, and whatever else they have going on for Bishop. You feel me? But that is it for this part. Of course, we're still fuck DC around here. So if you are still joining the boycott that I'm doing, right? Boycott for me. Make sure you guys sign the petition. It has been this many days. We are still in the red on days. And I may have some news here at some point in time. Of course, I want you guys to get indies. So if you have not done a pledge for the Gambit for Echelon graphic novels, 100% do that, because closing in on days, and that would be amazing. Also, if you have not gotten Reaper for Captain Diesel's dojo, Captain Diesel is the one who created Reaper. Go ahead and get that as well. And then, of course, Salt Blood, Blood Tide, Midnight Whispers, all those things. And that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and I will see you guys at your next checkout.